If you're looking to add that iconic Flowmaster sound to your 2015 and newer Hemi at home, but without adding a ton of volume, well then the American Thunder catback that we have here today is certainly going to be a great option. Now this system will combine 409 grade stainless steel along with the legendary Super 40 series mufflers and a lifetime warranty, all for right around that $1,200 price point. Now install is going to be a 100% bolt-on job, guys, as we'll show you here in a little bit, but figure middle of the road, 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and maybe a couple of hours of your time to get in place from start to finish. So the star of the American Thunder from Flowmaster will certainly be the Super 40 series muffler here, which is chambered and will help deliver that iconic Flowmaster tone I mentioned earlier. Now, what does that mean for the Hemi in regards to volume? Well, as you guys heard with our sound clips at the top of this video, the American Thunder is going to deliver that iconic rumble, but with a bit more volume compared to your stock catback, and one that, yes, is a little bit louder, but at the end of the day isn't crazy loud or over the top, which is something I really like. It's a very livable system. So going to my wake the neighbor scale here, guys, I have the American Thunder coming in at a pretty strong 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to wake the neighbor scale. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're looking for a loud system, this just isn't gonna be the one for you. Instead, you might want to consider the Outlaw from Flowmaster, which is gonna certainly deliver a lot more volume, a lot more unruliness, if you will, and that is an option that you can find here at AM if you're interested. But again, the American Thunder is going to help deliver that very unique tone that's a little bit deeper compared to your factory system with minimal interior noise, and that's thanks largely in part to Flowmaster's Gen 2 case or muffler design. But what do you say we get into the nitty-gritty here with the American Thunder? And listen, we already talked at length about the Super 40 series muffler, the chambered muffler, of course, responsible for most of the sound, but the mufflers do get a little help from Flowmaster's Scavenger Series X pipe here, which will help add a little bit more volume compared to maybe using a stock mid pipe. Again, this is a full stainless system here, gang, and as a result does get backed by that limited lifetime warranty. Now that stainless does find its way into things like the 3-inch mandrel bent tubing throughout here, does lead into and out of that X pipe, also stainless, of course, as are your Super 40 series mufflers as well. Finally, everything is going to exit out of your quad 3.5-inch polished tips, and those guys are embossed with the Flowmaster logo and does look great underneath that rear bumper. Now, one thing I do want to point out before we get into the installation is that the American Thunder from Flowmaster does include what Flowmaster likes to call their dummy valve stands for your factory exhaust valves. And those guys are in place basically to prevent any possible check engine lights while still maintaining that wide open power and sound at all times with this system in place. But now let's get into that installation as promised earlier. And again, full bolt-on job here, guys. Can be done in a couple of hours or less from start to finish, depending on how fast you like to work. And to give you a better idea of how things will go down, here's my man Joe with a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
The tools used for this install are an impact gun, exhaust hanger pliers, a power or hand ratchet, 15mm socket, 13mm socket, 8mm socket, a 4mm Allen, a 10mm wrench, an extension, a 13mm wrench, and a clip removal tool. So the first step of this install is going to be removing the exhaust system from the vehicle to make room for our new Flowmaster. I'm going to walk you through every step of the process, and you're only going to need a few simple hand tools to get this job done. So let's get started. I'm going to start by unplugging my electronic valve controller from my exhaust system. There's one on each side of the pipes. Just remove the clip, and then using my clip removal tool, I'm going to remove the retainer clip for the wire harness that's on the exhaust hanger and just set that aside. Now I can just do the same exact thing on the other side of the exhaust. Now that I have my valve controllers unplugged and the wire harnesses set aside, I'm going to use a 13mm ratcheting wrench, but a standard box wrench or a very stubby ratchet will do the same job. And I'm going to remove the 13mm bolt for both of the hangers right next to the differential. Once these bolts are removed, I'm going to leave the hangers sitting in their clips just so it will hold the exhaust system up while I remove the rest of the hardware. So these hangers here next to the differential, they both bolt in, but they also have a little hook hanger that holds them in place. That's what I meant when I said I'm going to leave them clipped into place. When it comes time, I'm just going to lift up and remove that from the hook, and that way I'll be able to drop the whole exhaust system. But for now, I'll just leave these sitting in place while I remove the rest of the hardware. The next hanger bolt that needs to be removed is directly above the muffler, and it's straight up here on the underside of the body, and you're going to use a 13mm socket with an extension to get to it. And now I can do the same exact thing on the other side of the exhaust system. Now I'm going to use my 15mm socket on my ratchet to loosen up the clamps for the X pipe right here behind the cats. So now's gonna be the time to grab the help of a friend or an extra set of hands if you've got them. We're gonna lift the exhaust system off the hooks here in the back, and then we're gonna wiggle this out and pull it from the back. Now there are a few components from this exhaust system that need to be transferred from our factory setup onto our new exhaust pipes. The hangers and the valve controllers are going to be transferred over. Now these valve controllers are going to be bolted on and plugged in, but they are not going to be functional. You'll need an 8mm socket to remove the 3 nuts, and then using the provided spacer hardware, you can install them onto the new pipes and plug them back in as if they were factory. I'm going to use my exhaust hanger tool to remove the exhaust hangers here and on the back of the exhaust as well. And like I said, I'll use my 8mm socket to remove the controller. It's a good idea to use a little bit of penetrant to get these exhaust hangers to slide off a little easier. And then take your exhaust hanger tool and slide that right off, and now you can slide it onto the new pipe. I'll do the same thing for the muffler hanger, and then I can repeat this process for the remaining hangers on the exhaust. Now that we have our hangers and our valve controllers removed from our stock exhaust system, we're ready to transfer them over to our new pipes. Now I'm going to use the provided hardware, and this depending on the spring size that you're using on your exhaust controller, I'm going to use the 3/4 inch spacers that are provided in the kit, but if you have the shorter spring, you're going to use the 1/2 inch spacer. I'm going to do that along with the provided hardware in the kit, which are these small screws and these Allen head screws here. And I will install these standoffs into the 3 locations on the mounting bracket. And then I'll tighten them up with a 10mm wrench. And I'll repeat that for both sides of the exhaust. Now that I have my standoffs installed properly, I'm going to line up the spring with the slot on the mounting bracket, and I just have to twist it into place, and then I can install the provided hardware through the bolt holes. Now that I have all of my bolts started by hand, I'm going to take my 4mm socket and tighten up the Allen bolts. Now I can repeat the same exact process on the other side of the exhaust. Next, I can slide on all of my exhaust hangers front and back. And you can repeat that for the other side of the exhaust as well. Now that we have our valve controllers and our exhaust hangers switched over to our new exhaust pipes, it's time to start installing our new exhaust system onto the vehicle. Now I have my clamps pre-installed here on my center X pipe, and I'm going to line them up with the 2 pipes coming off of the catalytic converters and slide them into place. With my X pipe in place, now I can start installing the mufflers to the vehicle. There's an inlet and an outlet. The inlet is offset and the outlet is centered. I'm just gonna pre-install my clamp on there, slide it into place, and then using my 15mm socket, I'll just snug that clamp to hold the muffler while I assemble the rest of the exhaust system. I'm not going to fully tighten that down until the end. Once again, I'm just going to snug up this clamp to hold things in place. Now, keep in mind there's going to be a lot of weight sitting on the end of this X pipe, so it's not a bad idea to support it in the middle. I'm just going to use a pole jack to hold things in place, and then I'll snug this clamp, and once I have everything installed, I'll go back and fully tighten everything. Now that I have my muffler sitting in place, I'm going to take my clamps for the back end of the muffler and I'm going to install those into place. Once I have those ready to go, I can start installing my tailpipes. The tailpipe just slides into the back of the muffler. And it's going to use the factory hanger locations. Now you can use the factory exhaust hanger and just hook it on into place while you line up your other hangers and secure your clamps. Now I can line up my rear hanger bolt location and reinstall the factory bolt. I'm just going to get this bolt started with my 13mm socket. Now that I have my rear exhaust hanger bolt installed and just started by hand, I can do the same for the exhaust hanger here next to the differential. I'm just going to get this bolt started to hang things in place and keep everything from moving while I make my adjustments. And now I can just repeat the same install for the other side of the exhaust. Now that all of my bolts for my hangers are in and started, I can start reconnecting my electrical connections for the exhaust valve controller. And then I can go back with my 13mm wrench and sockets and tighten down every one of the hanger bolts. Now I can use my 13mm wrench to tighten up my forwardmost hanger bolts. Now I can use my 13mm socket with my extension to tighten up the rearmost hanger bolts. Now that I have all my adjustments made and everything's sitting the way I want it, I made sure that nothing's going to touch or get hot. I also made sure that my exhaust tips are clearing my bumper. Now I can start tightening up all of my clamps, and I'm going to use my 15mm socket on my impact gun and tighten all those down. The kit provides you with these little serrated washers that actually slide onto the hanger next to the differential. Just push them into place, and then you might need a socket or a small screwdriver to get them fully engaged. And this is just going to keep the exhaust hangers from potentially sliding one way or the other due to vibration, and they just hold everything into place. Now just repeat that same exact thing on the other side of the exhaust. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Flowmaster American Thunder Catback exhaust, fitting your 2015 to 2021 Dodge Challenger 6.4 liter Hemi. Thanks for watching, and for all things Challenger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.